Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB, recap for Wednesday, October 29th shows that Bill Spencer's Don Diamont metamorphosis surprised Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton and Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, as their father became chill at work. Adiel Giardino, Hope Logan, Annika Noel proudly displayed her engagement ring to Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, and Deke Sharp. Deacon confessed that he had fought hard for Hope and Liam's reunion, thus he was overjoyed for them along with Deke. Hope mentioned fresh starts and hoped Deacon could have his own. It was clear that Hope and Deke still wanted Deacon to put Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown behind him, so they were optimistic that he would figure things out with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig assistance. Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, was concerned about Taylor being alone after her breakup with Ridge Forrester, Torsten K. Taylor said that she found fulfillment in her children, friends, and work. Taylor was currently single, but she hinted that it wouldn't last forever, leaving Steffi wondering if she was open to dating someone else. Steffi was ready for Taylor to have her own love destiny and advised her mother on taking risks. Deacon eventually texted Taylor and got her on the phone because he wanted to see her again. Taylor and Deacon needed to discuss what had happened between them, so she agreed to meet with him today. Bill and Will at Spencer Publications were overjoyed when Liam announced his engagement. Bill also discussed making some changes to the office and making it more reflective of Liam. When Cassie, Amy Asbeck, an executive, came on Wednesday's BNB show, Bill pressed her to inform him that a specific deal had been completed. Cassie mentioned that it was close, which irritated Bill at first because it hadn't been confirmed. However, Bill calmed down and eventually adopted a chill approach with Cassie. After acting as if there was no hurry, Bill even encouraged Cassie to take some time off work to spend with her grandchildren. Liam and Will were impressed by Bill's efforts to implement these reforms at Spencer Publications. Bill confessed it was difficult, but Liam's suffering served as an excellent reminder of what is truly essential in life. Later, Liam met with Hope, who hoped Sheila wouldn't have to attend their wedding. There was also considerable discussion about Hope's wish for Deacon to meet someone stable, or at least someone with more toes. The Bold and the Beautiful SpoiIers claimed Sheila will continue to battle for her marriage to Deacon despite the opposition, so stay tuned. Bill had always been the type of carpenter who measured twice and cut once, both professionally and personally. At 52, his hands were calloused from years of clutching hammer handles, his shoulders thick from carrying 2x4s up ladders, and his voice a low, purposeful rumble that drew others in to listen. He wore the same steel-toed boots every day until the leather broke, and he cut his hair short with the electric shears he purchased in 1998. Routine was his religion. Breakfast at 6:30 a.m., black coffee, 2 over-easy eggs, and dry wheat bread. Work by 7. I'll be home by 5:30. Dinner starts at 6 p.m. At 7 o'clock, he turned on the television, usually the news, and kept the sound low enough to hear the grandfather clock in the hallway tick. Bedtime at 10. His daughter, Luna, had grown up following that timetable like a moon around a planet. She was 24 now, back from college for the summer, her hair colored a strong shade of violet that contrasted with the beige walls of Bill's house, which he had built himself in 2003. She rushed through the rooms like a gust of wind, leaving doors open, music leaking from her earbuds, and her laughing loud and unexpected. Will, her younger brother, 19 and home from his first year of community college, followed her as he always had, half amused, partly annoyed, and completely loyal. The two of them communicated in a language Bill had never learned: memes, TikTok references, and abbreviations that sounded like sneezes. Bill did not mind. He nodded when they spoke to him, asked the occasional question about their classes or occupations, and otherwise remained within his orbit. The first fracture in the routine occurred on a Tuesday in June. Bill arrived home from the job site early. Rain had halted the work, and discovered Luna and Will in the living room, crouched over Will's laptop and whispering feverishly. When Bill walked in, they both sprang up as if they had been caught stealing. "Hey, Dad," Luna exclaimed, overly bright. "You're home early." "Rain," Bill groaned, removing his boots. He looked at the screen before Will slammed the laptop shut. Something about a festival. Neon colors. A dragon logo. What is that? Nothing, Will replied. Just a thing, Bill said, raising an eyebrow before moving on. He went into the kitchen, poured his coffee, and sat at the table with the newspaper. 10 minutes later, Luna came at the door, twisting the hem of her large t-shirt. So, she answered, there's a music festival. In the desert. 3 days. It's called the Neon Vortex. Will and I were thinking about traveling. Bill turned the page. When? Next weekend. He looked up. Do you have the money for that? We've been saving, Will explained, appearing behind Luna. And it's not too expensive if we camp, Bill reflected. The prospect of his children being in a desert with hundreds of strangers, no running water, and temperatures above 100 degrees made him uncomfortable. But they were grown-ups. Technically. And Luna's eyes had that defiant shine that indicated debating would be like arguing with a brick block wearing eyeliner. Fine, he said. But you call me every night. And you take the emergency bag from the garage. They hooped and hugged him, which was odd enough for him to massage their backs awkwardly before returning to his paper. This should have been the end of it. On Thursday, however, Bill returned home to find Luna in the kitchen, stirring something that smelled like burnt sugar and citrus. She donned an apron with faded letters that read "Kiss the Cook," his apron from Father's Day 20 years ago. She said, Dad, without looking up. Hypothetically, what if he wanted to go to Neon Vortex, but didn't want to be a total dad? Bill placed his lunchbox on the countertop. Define total dad. You understand. Khakis. Polo shirt is tucked in. Fanny pack. Yelling at kids to stay hydrated. I don't yell. You kind of do. Bill opened the fridge and pulled out a drink. So, what are the alternatives? Luna turned, wielding a wooden spoon as a wand. Flowy pants. Linen shirt. Perhaps a necklace. Something that says, I'm here to vibe, not supervise. Bill drew a big pull from the bottle. You want me to go? It wasn't a question. Luna's grin provided an adequate response. No, Bill answered. Come on, said Will from the living room. It will be enjoyable. You never have any fun. I play golf. Golf is not fun. Golf is what old men do while they wait to die, Bill said, glaring at Will. I'm 52. Exactly. Luna approached him, hooking an arm through his. It's only 3 days. You can be the designated driver. Our voice of reason. Bill responded, I am chill, Dad. You once suspended me for wearing ripped jeans to church. That was unusual. You were 15. Please, Dad. Luna's voice slipped into the register she'd used from childhood to express her desire for the unattainable. This is the last summer before I begin my internship. Will is transferring to state in the autumn. We want one major item. With you. Bill gazed at her. Really looked. The violet hair was sprouting out from the roots, revealing a stripe of her original brown. There were slight shadows beneath her eyes from late-night studying. Will came in the doorway, resting against the frame with his arms folded, attempting to be nonchalant but failing. Bill sighed. Luna shrieked and put her arms around his neck. I'm not wearing flowy pants. Will punched the air. Bill stood there, beer in one hand and daughter glued to his chest, feeling the first stirrings of what may have been horror. The following week was a whirl of preparation. Luna and Will transformed the dining room into a command center with printed maps, hydration packs, and a whiteboard covered in color-coded schedules. Bill was tasked with keeping the vibes intact. On Wednesday, Luna dragged him to the secondhand store. She displayed shirts like a fashion prosecutor. No, she replied to the checkered button-down. No, to the Carhartt jacket. Definitely no, he said, referring to the reflective safety vest he had worn on night work. Finally, she found a linen shirt the color of desert sand, sleeves rolled to the elbow, and buttons made of shell. It was soft. Almost too soft. Bill held it as if it would bite him. Try it, Luna ordered. In the changing room, he put it on. The fabric felt like water on his skin. He looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, The same broad shoulders and old hands, but the shirt made him appear lighter. He rolled the sleeves up and unbuttoned the top 2 buttons. The guy returned my gaze and almost grinned. He purchased it. The pants were loose, cream-colored, and had a drawstring. And the necklace is a tiny leather cord with a single turquoise bead. When he paid, the cashier, a kid with a septum pierced, nodded in approval. "Festival?" the kid inquired. Bill grumbled. The kid grinned. On Friday morning, they loaded the vehicle. Bill's ancient Ford F-150, the one with the dent in the tailgate from when Will was 16, and backed into a mailbox. Coolers, tents, sleeping bags, and a portable stove. Luna insisted on using a tapestry for the tent wall. Will carried a portable speaker about the size of a toaster. Bill brought an emergency bag, a first aid booklet, and 3 gallons of water for each person every day. The drive took 6 hours. Luna rode shotgun, feet on the dash, playing music Bill had never heard. Will sprawled across the back seat, filming everything on his phone. Bill drove quietly, one hand on the wheel and the other resting on the shifter. The linen shirt breathed against his skin. When he turned, the necklace tapped against his collarbone. They came about dusk. The desert extended out like a crimson sea, with the festival grounds like a shining island in the center. Cars crawled in rows, music blaring from open windows. People roamed in packs, covered in glitter and donning wire and silk wings. Bill parked in the campground and stepped out into the still radiating heat from the ground. Luna inhaled deeply. "Do you smell that?" Bill could smell dust and porta toilets. They set up camp. Bill set up his tent first, habit. Luna and Will scrambled with poles and stakes, laughing as their tent collapsed twice. Bill resisted the impulse to take control. Instead, he hung tarps for shade, stocked coolers with ice, and arranged the food by meal. When he finished, Luna gave him a glow stick bracelet. "For the vibe," she explained. He put it on. Night fell quickly. The festival came to life, with stages pulsing with light and bass that you could feel in your teeth. Luna and Will desired to explore. Bill paused. "Go," he replied. "I'll stay with the stuff." "No way," Luna replied. She took his hand and said, "You're coming." Will grabbed the other. They drew him into the crowd. The first stage was a riot of colors. A DJ wearing a fox mask played music that made the ground quake. People danced in circles, arms lifted, bodies painted in neon. Luna twirled in the center, her hair flying. Will jumped, fist pounding. Bill stood at the edge, hands in his pockets, feeling each year of his life. Then a female in a bikini top and cowboy hat ran into him. She was maybe 20 years old and had glitter on her skin. "Sorry," she shouted above the music. Then she gave him a serious look and grinned. "That's a nice shirt, buddy. Are you with the flow?" Bill blinked. "The what?" "The flow. You exude an air of calmness and wisdom." "I dig it," she said, pressing a sticker into his hand. A cartoon cactus wearing sunglasses and dancing away. Bill looked at the sticker. Then he looked at his children, who were lost in the crowd and gleaming under the lights. He gave his first genuine smile of the night. They stayed till the set was over. Luna's face was drenched in sweat, her eyes sparkling. Will's shirt was drenched. They fell against Bill while walking back to camp. "That was insane," Will gasped. "You didn't hate it," Luna said to Bill. It was not a question. "I didn't hate it," he said. Back in the tent, they sat around a lamp. Will took out a bag of glow sticks and began cracking them open, transforming the campsite into a gentle green cave. Luna produced a pink carbonated bottle. "Non-alcoholic," she said, "but festive." They drank. The desert night was drawing in, and the sky was filled with stars. Crickets chirped. Somewhere, a drum circle began. Bill leaned back against the fridge. The linen shirt was soaked from sweat, but it did not cling. The jewelry felt warm against his flesh. He felt loose, as if the drawstring on his pants had also untied something inside of him. "Tell us a story," Luna said abruptly. Bill lifted an eyebrow. "From when you were our age." "I was never your age," Will snorted. "I was born 52. "Liar." You have photos. You had hair. Less hair, Bill said. He considered for a moment. All right. Summer of 1993. I was 20. I worked on construction projects in Phoenix. We lived in a trailer with 3 other guys. We traveled out to the desert one night and found only a bonfire and a stolen keg. Somebody had a guitar. Someone else had firecrackers. We stayed up till dawn, spinning tales about ladies we'd never kissed. Luna embraced her knees. Did you kiss anyone? Eventually, Bill replied. Your mother. At a diner at 3 a.m. She was a waitress. I ordered pancakes. She drew a smiley face in syrup. Will moaned. Dad. That is so cheesy. It worked, Bill replied. He noticed the firelight flashing across their faces. The point is, I wasn't always this man. I simply forgot. Luna leaned over and gripped his hand. Will bumped his shoulder. The following day was hotter. They awoke to find the sun already blazing. Bill brewed coffee on the camp stove, while Luna and Will applied sunscreen like battle paint. They walked the grounds, passing art exhibits made of scrap metal, a large inflatable unicorn, and a tent where people exchanged praises for hugs. Bill received 3 hugs. One individual told him his energy was peak dad glow. Bill had no idea what that meant, but he took the praise. The afternoon featured seminars. Bill stood in the back, arms folded, while a woman in a flowing skirt led 50 others in flailing to tribal sounds. Luna dragged them to one ecstatic dance. We'll dive right in. Luna followed. After 5 minutes, she turned back to Bill and beckoned. He shakes his head. She pouted. He sighed and moved onward. The music consisted of drums and flutes, with no lyrics. People moved in whichever way they wanted. Some swirled, swayed, and some simply stood and breathed. Bill started small, transferring his weight from foot to foot. Then he rolled his shoulders. Then, God help him, he raises his arms. The linen shirt billowed. The necklace swings. He closes his eyes. When the song finished, he opened them to see Luna and Will staring, jaws open. Dude, Will replied. Bill shrugged. You just danced. It was fine. Luna hugged him. You're my favorite. That night was the big event. The headliner was a band that no youngster could stop talking about for weeks, an electronic pair with a light show capable of guiding ships. They set out a position at the front. The mob rushed in, bodies drenched in perspiration and glow paint. Bill stood behind his children, forming a human shield against the surge. The music began. Lasers slashed through the sky. The bass sounded like a heartbeat. Luna turned and grasped Bill's hands, drawing him into the rhythm. Will hooped and jumped. Bill let go. He danced. Not well. No, not graciously. But with the same methodical focus he used when framing a house. Every action intentional. Every step firm. The linen shirt clung to his back. The turquoise bead bounced against his chest. People surrounding them cheered, not at him, but for the sheer delight of it all. Yet it felt as if they were cheering for him. At one point, Luna climbed on his shoulders. She was light, all elbows and knees, yet he kept her steady. Will filmed it with his phone. The crowd let up a yell. Bill laughed, a genuine chuckle that began in his stomach and came out loud enough to startle him. Later, during a slow song, Luna rested against his side. I can't believe you're here, she exclaimed. Like this. Bill wrapped his arm around her. Me neither. They took their time packing up on the final morning. The event grounds resembled a battleground of glitter and abandoned tents. Bill's muscles ached in places he had forgotten about. Despite wearing SPF 50, his skin was burnt. But he felt fine. Better than good. In the truck, Luna rode shotgun once more. Will lay in the back, already asleep. The playlist was quieter, acoustic music with lyrics you could hear. Halfway home, Luna went to Bill. So, Neon Vortex. Annual tradition? Bill cast a peek at her. Her violet hair was twisted, and her face was covered with dust and glitter residue. She looked like a warrior. Maybe, he replied. She grinned and rested her head on his shoulder. The necklace tapped his collarbone with each bump in the drive. When they pulled into the driveway, the house appeared smaller, beige, silent, and waiting. Bill carried the coolers within. Luna and Will followed, disputing about who should unpack the tents. Bill placed the last cooler on the counter and looked around. The grandfather clock ticked. The newspaper from a week ago was still on the table, folded to the crossword he never completed. He walked to his bedroom, changed out of the linen shirt, and gently hung it in the closet. The pants, too. He left the necklace on the dresser, with a turquoise bead catching the light. That night, Luna chose takeout pizza for dinner. They ate on the couch, with boxes open on the coffee table and the TV showing a documentary about deep-sea creatures. Will fell asleep halfway through, resting his head on Bill's shoulder. Luna curled up on the opposite side, feet tucked under her. Bill felt the routine alter as he gazed at them, his grown, glowing children who were present. Not breaking, just grow. As if the desert had dug out a little more space within him. The following weekend, he wore the linen shirt to the hardware shop. The cashier, a different teen, this time with a mullet, did a double take. "Nice fit, man," the kid remarked. Bill nodded. "Thanks." He purchased nails, a new level, and a small potted cactus. When he arrived home, he placed the cactus on the kitchen windowsill. Luna discovered it later and laughed until she sobbed. "Dad," she replied, wiping her tears. Bill grumbled, "You're officially chill." But he smiled. The shift was not instant. There were still mornings with black coffee and wheat toast. Still evenings with the news on low volume. However, the playlist occasionally leaks from Luna's room onto the hallway. Will occasionally took him to the backyard to practice a new skateboard trick. Bill occasionally left his work shirt's top button undone for no apparent reason. Every year, in June, the dining room was transformed back into a command center. The whiteboard has returned. The emergency pack developed to include glow sticks and a pineapple-shaped portable charger. Bill still carried 3 gallons of water per person per day. However, he also packed the linen shirt, the pants, the necklace. The kids started calling him Chill Dad. Not in his face, mostly. But he could hear it in their voices as they told their pals. Strangers at the event nodded at him, as if he belonged. Bill did not feel transformed. Not really. He was still the man who measured twice before cutting once. Who built things to last. Who adored his children with unwavering consistency. But in between the bass drops and the desert lights, he remembered something. The frame could carry more than he had realized. The blueprint could bend. And it was enough.